Hi guys, today I'm in Manchester to see the release of a very special watch, one that is actually inspired greatly by the city of Manchester. And as you may know, I'm a Scouser, so I know absolutely nothing about Manchester. I do have someone you would want to base a watch on Manchester, a very special friend of the channel, someone that you actually might know a little bit.
Hello. That's right, I am finally reviewing the Clocktower from Area Nostalgia. This is not your average Clocktower though. This is the Manchester edition. Seriously, this watch makes me feel like I am betraying every Scouse fibre in my body. I should hate it. However, I haven't wanted to take it off. Look, this is not going to be a slobberfest over this watch. Yes, I'm mates with the guy, but I don't think he'd expect anything but honesty throughout this video. And as always, you can stick around to the end for my downsides. But they may not be what you expect. The first edition of the Clocktower had a lot of elegance about it, especially with the polished steel case and the ornate decoration around it. But I feel like this one is a much more modern take. I'll be honest, when I was told that this would feature a gunmetal case, I was not convinced. I thought it was a horrendous idea. That was until I saw it. And the way that it just plays against that yellow dial, it brings it to life. And it's also hiding a little feature that you'll see shortly. They're using an IP coating here, which is considered to be a level above PVD. The theme behind the watch is obviously Manchester as a city, and their iconic worker bee, which makes perfect sense when you look at the colour palette throughout it. Honestly, you can't escape that emblem throughout Manchester. They have it on absolutely everything, even the bins. And now it's on the case back of this limited edition piece. I think the real unique selling point of these watches is definitely the decorative case. It genuinely fits that entire Clocktower theme perfectly, and it's not really like anything else that you see on the market. Beyond that, the rectangular case against the circular dial, it's just so different, so unique that I love it. It's also been the perfect size for my wrist, and that's part of the reason why I've hardly taken it off. It has a 30mm diameter, giving a little bit more presence around the smaller dial, and the lug-to-lug sits at 39mm. For reference, that is slightly smaller than the extra large Cartier tank and slightly bigger than the large. It also has a rather thin profile coming in at 9mm thick. That will be owed slightly to the manual wind mechanism in the back. And speaking of winding, this is a pull-push crown. It has a good level of grip to it, and it has a signature. But more importantly, it definitely has a little bit of presence against that case. The case back, which is engraved with that worker bee symbol, and of course the limited number comes screwed into that case. Obviously, all those specifications together, it's going to give this a low water resistance rating. That is 50 meters. You'd probably expect that from a dress watch, but it means that it's pretty much splash proof. Don't be taking it into the bath. I am going to tease you a little further with the hidden feature to this dial. So let's talk about how good it looks. The bright yellow rich colour with those black accents is straight down my street. Something that isn't so obvious in the images though is how those hour markers come off the dial. They're not exactly massive, but they definitely give that 3D type of effect and a slight little level of depth. It is also helped by the curvature to the sapphire crystal, which in turn helps that flow with the shape of that case. Altogether, it just gives more dimensions to the watch as you look at it. It doesn't have that flat presence that you may think it has when you look at the pictures. However, it is subtle, so it still keeps in line with that dress watch type of simplicity. The handset has a sword style shape to it, along with a pencil thin second hand that sweeps around the dial very nicely. That is powered by the ST6103K movement. That is mechanical, it is hand wound, and yes, it is from Seagull, it is Chinese. It hacks, doesn't have a go to state position, 21,600 beats per hour, and a 36-hour power reserve. But yes, still Chinese. If that isn't for you, that isn't for you, but personally I really don't care as long as they perform the way that they should, and this one has. At the 6 o'clock of that dial, it is marked with the Manchester print. Obviously that is what this watch is inspired by, but it is definitely something that I've hidden whilst around my mates at the pub. The real feature to this dial is the Lume. I doubt you expected this, but it is a full Lume dial, and it glows so well. It also means that you get best of both worlds with this. The black markings that accent that yellow so well, but still a really present Lume signature. I'm pretty sure the standard Lume dial was one of the first ones to sell out, so you can see why Kieran's gone back to this. This one has the choice of a leather band or a mesh bracelet. I've seen a lot of people wearing these watches on the mesh bracelet, and yeah, it does its job. it's what it should be. It also gives a little bit of a brick-like texture with those links, which aids into the Clocktower type of theme. But personally, for me, it has to be the leather band. I feel like when you have a dress watch, you want to dress it up, you want to make it look pretty, and that's exactly what this leather band does. That's just my opinion. Either way, both have been quite comfortable. And the coating matching the case on the buckle is a expected yet nice touch. I believe that they were launched yesterday at the price of £399 or $479. Now I know that isn't stupidly cheap, but I think what you really need to consider is it's a good price for this type of market. It's a very design-driven piece, and that is what you're paying for. Plus, the specifications for that type of price really are not bad at all. I get that a lot of people will comment about the Chinese movement, but personally, what I think you are paying for is the effort in design, the execution, and honestly, this watch looks fantastic. It's not like anything else that you see on the market. These are not pieces just picked up off a shelf and thrown together. It has been designed from base, and I saw the process of that design. There were a lot of back and forth to get this absolutely perfect. And that's exactly what they've done. It is not cheap at all to produce a unique case, I'll tell you that. In terms of moans though, it is a very distinct piece. They literally label themselves as unapologetically niche. That means this won't be for everyone. They are super niche. And this Manchester edition makes it so much more so. This is not a watch for the masses. In fact, there's only 100 of them, so yeah. In my opinion, the movement isn't exactly anything special. The specifications are quite basic. 21,600 beats per hour movement, 36-hour power reserve. It means that you are going to have to wind it pretty much every day to keep it going properly. Some people won't be happy with the price. That is just the market, unfortunately. I know a lot of people think that micro brands should have AliExpress pricing. That's just not how it works when you design something unique. It's really not that simple. Personally, I really like it. And I honestly hate the fact that the best looking watch that Kieran has produced to date is the Manchester edition. But it's obviously one that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Now, if you want to see Kieran's take on this watch and hear him waffle on about how important the worker bee is and how great of a symbol it is and how amazing Manchester is, go and check his video. That is not the propaganda that you will find on this channel. Otherwise, check it out below.